is like trying to push against the heavy waves of the sea, or like walking around aimlessly. We never get anywhere. I believe such a lack of purpose is the reason for the increasing number of suicides in the United States in recent years. When people don't know what to live for, death can seem appealing to them. But when they take their own life, they go from human uncertainty into a spiritual realm that is unknown to them. Sadly, a large percentage of men and women die without understanding why God created them or discovering their purpose on earth. When our lives lack meaning, time itself can become a difficult burden to carry. In contrast, those who know their purpose walk safely through life and are even pursued by success. When I refer to success, I do not necessarily mean achieving fame or becoming rich, especially since both of these conditions tend to occupy the lowest rungs on the happiness scale. True success comes from doing the will of God and fulfilling the purpose for which we were created. Everything else is extra. Successful people conquer kingdoms, create nations, and shape history. History does not make them. On the contrary, they make history. Moses freed the Hebrews from slavery, defeating the Egyptian kingdom in the process, and established a new nation, Israel, shaping the course of God's people in history. Jesus Christ, by dying on the cross and rising from the dead, overcame the kingdom of darkness, brought the kingdom of God to earth, and divided the history of humanity into two, before Christ and after Christ. But it is not only great figures like Moses or Jesus who make their mark on history. When any person dares to think and live differently from the norm, obeying God and following His purposes, they will leave their own mark on the world. If you want to influence the history of your life and that of your family, your city, and even your nation, you have come to the right place. Created for Purpose will guide you in how to produce that kind of influence and change. God created everything with purpose. Every human being wants to know the purpose for their existence. In fact, there are 4 main questions that we all seek to answer for our lives. 1. Who am I? This is a question of identity. 2. Where do I come from? This is a question of origin. 3. Why am I here? This is a question of purpose. 4. Where am I going? This is a question of destiny. We will experience genuine happiness when we find the answers to these crucial questions, and the only one who can reveal the answers to us is our Creator. People who lack purpose often do not understand or accept themselves, so they end up competing with those around them. They will try to imitate someone else's appearance, seek to take the place that belongs to another, or attempt to steal the blessings that have been poured out on others. Such competition arises from a missing sense of identity and an ignorance of the fact that each individual has a distinct purpose in life. Those who do not know their purpose will always be insecure. God has a purpose for everyone and everything He created. We can define purpose as the original intent or reason for which something was created. In the case of human beings, our purpose is the original intent of God, His determination and desire for us when He gave us life. When I refer to our creation by God, I am not talking primarily about our earthly birth, but rather our design by Him in eternity, outside of the chronos, or chronological time, that we function under in the world. Thus, contrary to what many people think, life begins in heaven, not on earth. God designed us in heavenly places before we came to live on the earth. As He told the prophet Jeremiah, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. I ordained you a prophet to the nations." See Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Since everything in God begins with His original intention, we were a fully formed idea in His mind before we ever received our physical bodies. Therefore, we can say that before we are born, we already are.